Hey, welcome back. We're continuing with our series on hot tips for raising capital. And this is another one around podcasting. And this is how to leverage your podcast appearances. So getting booked on podcasts is fantastic. This is a great way to build up your credibility, your authority, all those kind of great benefits of being a guest on a podcast. But most people don't know how to really shake the tree and get all the fruit they can from that podcast appearance. So today, that's what we're going to talk about. What to do before, during, and after your podcast appearance to really leverage that experience. Stay tuned. Okay, so if you've been watching some of my previous episodes, I've been talking a lot lately about the big benefits of being a guest on other people's media, especially on other people's podcasts. So hopefully by now, you've got the idea that this can really be a great way to boost your credibility, your authority, let people know in your own sphere that you know what you're talking about when it comes to real estate investing. It's a great way to connect with other people in the industry. It's a great way to bring on new connections through the podcast hosts, audience, all these big benefits of podcasting. But I can't tell you how many people I've interviewed who haven't really leveraged the experience. So I'm going to talk about that here today on this video because there are 3 different ways that I think you can really leverage your podcast guest experience. And way number 1 is before you even get interviewed. So as soon as you've reached out to somebody or you've been invited on somebody's podcast, that's the time to start leveraging it. So what I always recommend to people is, hey, as soon as you've got a time booked in to be a guest on somebody's show, let everybody know. If you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, if you're on Twitter or whatever, LinkedIn, let everybody know. Hey, I'm so pleased. I'm going to be interviewed on Dave DeBoe's Property Profits Real Estate Podcast show. I can't wait for the interview and I'll let you know when it happens. All right. All you have to do is just kind of give people a little heads up. And your followers, your friends, your family members, your connections, they're going to go, wow, okay, that's cool. Joe must know what they're doing. They're going to be interviewed on a podcast. And the immediate assumption is you must be an expert if you're going to be interviewed on a podcast. So that's before you're even on the podcast. Now let's fast forward. Let's go to the day that you are being interviewed on the podcast. 9 times out of 10, you're going to jump online with the podcast host. It's going to be on some kind of platform, probably Zoom, and you're going to be seeing the podcast host face to face, and you're going to be having your interview. They're going to be asking you questions. You're going to be going back and forth. So that's great. You're getting interviewed. Here's the big tip for you. At the end of the interview, or at the beginning of the interview, or whatever, before you start filming, take a screenshot of you with the host. Take a screenshot, all right? Take a picture of you with the host getting interviewed, all right? And then as soon as you're done the interview, jump on social media again, put up the picture now. Now you're not just talking about the future thing that you're going to be doing. Now you're going to be showing people that you've actually just been interviewed. Hey, great news. I just want to let you know, I just got off my interview with Dave DeBoe on his Property Profits Real Estate Podcast. Can't wait for it to come out. It was a lot of fun. We had a great conversation about what I'm doing with real estate investing. I'll let you know as soon as the episode drops. All right, you put that up on social media. You're going to get lots of comments, lots of likes, create some buzz. Again, so this is another way to leverage that podcast experience. And then as soon as the episode drops, and the podcast host is usually going to let you know when that happens, then really leverage that. Take the podcast artwork that they've got for you, put that up on social media, put up the link to your episode, put that up on your website if you've got that. If you're on Facebook and LinkedIn, all these different things, put it up everywhere that you are so that you can really leverage that. Hey, great news. My episode just dropped. Here it is. You can check it out. Had a great chat with Dave about what I'm doing with real estate investing. Here's the link. All right, so you click on that and that just really leverages the whole experience. So there you have it. I've given you a whole bunch of different reasons why it's a good idea to be a guest on a podcast. I've given you some strategies on how to get booked on podcasts. And today we just talked about how to leverage that experience. So if you really want to kick this up into gear, then I highly recommend that you be interviewed by me on my podcast. Why? Because I'm looking for some guests. I want to interview more what I call everyday people investing in real estate. So you can find out more and book your time at davemc.com. daveinterviewsyou.com. Again, daveinterviewsyou.com, and we'll make sure we take some time for a selfie so that you can leverage your interview.